Hello. Hello. I love you. Won't you tell me your name? Hello, everybody. Thank you for clicking on to this um, underground weekend update. Tell you what's been happening yesterday and today that probably has not made the mainstream media. And with that being said, let's jump right into it. We're going to start out here. Donald Trump spoke in Philadelphia. We'll touch on that a little bit more here coming up. But while he was in Mar-a-Lago, um, this picture was taken. He was given a plaque that says "Born to Ride, Donald J. Trump," and "Born to Ride, Donald J. Trump." Um, and this endearing gentleman here has a picture of of the former president on a motorcycle. And I believe this is called riding bitch. He's got a picture of himself behind the president, former president, and I don't know. I just found that to be. I thought let's start out. Let's start off with this because Trump has a very diverse base, and it includes obviously includes bikers. Um, And there you go. So, in this country, if you're not born to ride President Trump, then you're not holding on tight enough to America, is what Gary Peterson said in that post. As I mentioned, the former president spoke in Philadelphia yesterday, and uh, the current president spoke in that same arena, and I believe he packed the place up. Yesterday, Trump spoke at Temple University and he filled the bottom up fairly well, but the entire top of the facility was empty. And is that an indication of support or lack thereof? That will be determined soon. Of course, Thursday night, the debate at 9 p.m., and we'll have a watch party on Thursday night. Hopefully, you will join us. The hashtag bleach blonde bad built butch body. Person right here, this is the one and only Anarchy Princess, former guest on the show. We did a great segment, at least in my opinion, I thought it was. I really enjoyed having her on and talk, and I thought she had enjoyed it too. She is now in Philadelphia. She was yesterday, as the former president was, and the guy behind her, um, I forget what his name is, but he is the lead voice on Real America's Voice. It is a very far right wing outlet, and his name's Brian something, I think, or Glenn. I don't know. Uh, anyway, this guy is Marjorie Taylor Greene's new boyfriend after she got divorced from her husband, and some say the reason she was divorcing her husband was because she was having an affair with this guy. And Anarchy Princess, again, former guest of the show, and one of the stars of the Summer of Chud, along with Lori Arnold and uh, Ant and Telescope and Pluck the Patriarchy and so many more. The Squirrels, the Jersey J, um, and then the Chuds. Um, but Anarchy Princess kind of derailed this guy's broadcast, and here's 17 seconds of it.
Okay, that's great. She's not here. She's not here. I don't know what she's saying.
I don't know what she's saying.
I don't know what she's saying. I don't know what she's saying. So what she's going to do? But this is, you know what?
one of the greatest troll scenes of all times. totally derails the guy's broadcast and uh, and probably gets him in trouble with Marjorie Taylor Greene because he says, first of all, he acknowledges he knows exactly who she's talking about and says she's not here, and then he says. He says, I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know what she's talking about. Let's listen one more time.
Okay. That's great. She's not here. She's not here. I don't know what she's saying. 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 So what she's going to do. But this is, you know what?
Also, I don't have a clip, but Lori Arnold, love Lori Arnold. Lori Arnold was on the Dallas television station, at least one of the Dallas television stations, popped up into my news feed on the YouTube, and she has been the past couple of days protesting the church Gateway Church in Dallas, where the um, senior pastor and founder of the whole big mega church thing um, turns out to have raped a 12-year-old when he was first starting this church. So yeah, and he has resigned, and Lori was out protesting that, justifiably so, and found herself on the news. So a couple of the stars from the Summer of Chud back in the news, and I saw this. I had to put this in the scroll. This was in this is evidently in one of the big box stores. You can indeed get a doofus moai for your yard or your office or I guess your apartment. And it says the AOH. This dude is going on my lawn. The AOH can suck my balls. This dude's going on my lawn. Um, and that, of course, is a very doofus attitude and greatly appreciated from Rothmus. Um, this is not out of the history books. This is not um, even from the past news media. This is from this past weekend. This is a photo of an actual cross burning in Tennessee, and Monday night at 6 p.m. Um, reporter Phil Williamson on NC5 will have his report of his continuing investigation into the rise of hate in the state of Tennessee. So, just a reminder of divisions within our nation, and unfortunately, we're going to touch on that a little bit more coming up here. Um, This was a tornado that touched down in Janesville, Wisconsin over the weekend, and you can see it literally folded a trampoline in half over an electric wire. Not something you see every day. And tornadoes just more in numbers and also stronger in intensity. And we are just starting the tornado hurricane season. So, as always, be weather aware. Um, China is closed down, demolished, and converted mosques into secular use as part of their fight against Islamic extremism. Authorities have removed Islamic architectural features such as domes and many minarets from many other mosques, as you can see is happening here. So I bring this up because we got some information about some things going on in Europe um, and in other parts of the world where the call for extremism is is rising in the Muslim communities, and we need to be aware of that. Um, Earlier tonight, I was talking with a very dear friend and was asked about the populations. Is there a big enough? I was asked, is there really a big enough Muslim population that they could take over Europe or eventually take over the world? Um, about one out of every four, somewhere between 25 and 27% of the world is Muslim. Um, Slightly higher than that is, I think it's 31% is some form of Christian, and point 0.2% of the world's population is Jewish. So um, that just gives you a rough idea population wise. And 90% of that that 0.2 percent of the world, 90% of the Jewish population lives in the United States and in Israel, with a slight majority living in Israel. So those are the demographics of the three Abrahamic religions, roughly, and it's important because um, we could be heading towards a wider conflict in the Middle East. And of course, Chris and I have been talking about that is what we anticipated going back before October 7th, when we were just speculating if something should kick off. Um, those that watch this show on a regular basis, thank you. Thank you, first of all. Second of all, you will know that I've been saying for a long time, do not be surprised if all of this stuff with Trump and Biden, if it's not all a big distraction, and if don't be surprised if one or both um, are not on the ballot in November. And I've been saying that for a long, long time, and more arrows are pointing towards it, including this. The Trump team, this is behind the scenes, this is underground news stuff. The Trump team battles the Republican National Committee revolt plans. Trump campaign is actively working to prevent a potential revolt from its right-wing supporters within the Republican National Convention. This effort is in response to a secret plan by some Arizona delegates who are aligned with Michael Flynn and Kari Lake to disrupt the nomination process and replace Donald Trump with Flynn, and Flynn naming Kari Lake his vice presidential candidate. The campaign, meaning Trump, is scrambling to replace delegates and address rising suspicions of disloyalty among its ranks, aiming to thwart any attempts that could pose an, quote, existential threat, end quote, to Trump's nomination. So, I didn't want to go all the way up there. Pardon me. We'll get some stuff to talk about, as you can see. And there we go. We're back down here. Um, there's been a lot of crazy rumors. Mike Flynn and QAnon friends were going to secretly try to oust Trump, um, looking more real with this Washington Post reporting. So, again, this is not being talked about openly, but I've been telling you for a long time that neither one of these people are going to be acceptable, um, and especially after this Thursday night's debate. And again, we'll have a watch party here, but we'll discuss that in much more detail then. Right now, we need to talk about Russia a little bit. Um, Russian Minister of Defense regarding today's what's called a massacre in Crimea by Ukraine with cluster munitions. The U.S. is responsible for this massacre, and they will get an answer, quote unquote. All flight missions for America's ATACMS, ATACMS, ATACMS missiles. All the missions are programmed by American specialists based on their own U.S. satellite intelligence data. Therefore, the responsibility for deliberate missile strike against the civilian population of Sevastopol lies primarily with Washington, which supplied those weapons to Ukraine, as well as the Kyiv regime, from whose territory this strike was launched. Such actions will not go unanswered. So, to summarize, what happened was again, the United States has indeed sold ATACMS. I do have footage of them being launched from somewhere in Ukraine coming up, and they were armed with cluster munitions. I believe I have evidence of that coming up, and this is not being looked upon kindly from Russia. It's being looked upon, as it says right there, as a deliberate attack against Russian populations, and such actions will not go unanswered. So this could potentially be something significant. I do not think the mainstream is talking about it at all, and it is something that could one of those dominoes that could lead to something very severe. Okay, this is our break for a little bit of, well, science and amusement. This is an octopus in stealth mode. I had to get a drink. You may be thinking he's not in stealth mode, but just a minute. Stealth mode. I just found that incredibly amazing. Nature is amazing. The creatures on the earth are amazing. And the dude just goes along, it doesn't even look like he's, the propulsion's coming from the front. It looks fairly aerodynamic, and then of course spreads out and he has all these tentacles and can suddenly change color and adapt, and then boom, looks like a rock. So there's our science for tonight, kids. Again, Russia says a deliberate terrorist missile attack was carried out on the city of Sevastopol by 5 American ATACMS missiles equipped with cluster warheads. 4 of the missiles were intercepted. The detonation of the fragmentation warhead of a 5th caused damage onto a beach, and that's from BRICS. All right, this is what the BRICS alliance is putting out as far as their news. I've got some more science stuff, and for some people they'll say this is conspiracy theory stuff, but I became aware today of a couple of things in the computer technology world, AI, that I just, it made me say, they did what? And this is one of those things.
What they did is they had a camera looking at a space with people in it. That's sort of like coming in from one eye. The other eye is the radio signals, so sonar from the Wi-Fi router. And they just learned to predict, like, this is where the human beings are. Then they took away the camera. So all the AI had was the language of radio signals bouncing around a room. And this is what they're able to reconstruct. Real-time 3D pose estimation right? So suddenly AI has turned every Wi-Fi router into a camera that can work in the dark, specially tuned for tracking living beings.
Okay, I don't know if we can all do that with our router, but it is one of those things that they did what? AI has adapted so that it can tell where the humans are in a room without a camera, just based upon sonar wave locations and the subsequent interference of beings on those waves. Uh, something to think about. AI turns Wi-Fi routers into cameras that see people through walls. Trump rails on ballooning deficit and Biden inflation is the headline of this. Fox does this a lot. They'll put up headlines that don't really go along with what's on the screen. And here's an example.
Where there's so much water, you don't know what to do with it. You know, it's called rain. It rains a lot in certain places. But no, their idea, you know, did you see the other day? They just put, I opened it up and they closed it again. I opened it, they close it. Washing machines to wash your dishes. There's a problem. They don't want you to have any water. They want no water. And I was with.
And you were just listening to former President Trump, and we're going to talk about some of the things he was discussing there. We'll be right back with final remarks.
Again, that was at 7:46 p.m. yesterday, live in Philadelphia. They got washing machines. They can't have any water. In a terribly embarrassing moment for Trump, Fox News has to cut away from his speech because he isn't making any coherent sense. It's beyond clear Trump is senile. Retweet so all Americans see this. That is from the Biden Wins site. All right, we're gonna pause here for just a second, and again say hello to everybody. Thank y'all for being here. We are going to switch over to this map momentarily. Map time, and the United States of America, Canada, Mexico over here, the Atlantic Ocean, North Atlantic, South Atlantic, of course, on the other side of the equator. South America. Here is Africa. Here is Europe. And this area right here in the red box is Dagestan. And Dagestan is a region of this giant thing up here called Russia. Russia extends down here, and this is one of their territories that is wanting to become an independent nation like its neighbors. And we'll zoom in here a little bit. You can see Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, Turkey, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and then right here, this is a region of Russia called Dagestan. Why does that matter? Well, because in Dagestan today, Islamic terrorists attacked this region, and they attacked a synagogue and they attacked a church. And now this was about, this was 11 hours ago. So there has been a lot happen, and we'll update as we continue on. At least 5 police officers have been eliminated, and 1 priest has been beheaded. Bearded terrorists all dressed in black and shouting Allah Akbar. And here's some footage. And again, you can hear the sounds of the guns. Obviously, they're rather far away, but it just gives you an idea of the amount of ceasefire that's been going on. Why does this have any significance at all? A couple of reasons: because of the call for global jihad that went out shortly after October 7th. Actually, it went out when Israel went into Gaza, and after October 7th, and the fact that these are allegedly Islamic extremists that are doing this. Again, there have been those in the Islamic faith that have made it very clear that their goal is the entire world will either be Muslim, or if you're not Muslim, you'll be dead. The other significant part is that the weapons that have been used by the terrorists, they've already been discovered as in pictures and analyzed, and whether it be true or not, the word is out there that these are rather specialized weapons that, let's just say, the United States Special Forces might have, or CIA. Speaking of weapons, I'm going to show you something here.
Hold it tight. Hold it tight.
All right, this is a guy from Britain who's about to shoot a shotgun, about to shoot a 12 gauge for the first time, and we're showing this. This is in a secure area at a firing range that we are showing. This video is where it was taken, and no one was injured in this, so no need to put any kind of hit against this video because of this particular segment. This is for entertainment purposes only.
Hold it tight. Hold it tight. That shit tight, bro. I was like,
That's why you always wear safety glasses too, by the way. I don't know if you caught it or not. We'll run it one more time. All right. Now, if you know, you know. If you know what the guy's doing wrong, you know, but if you want to put it in the comments to let other people know, he of course is not in anywhere close to anchoring the weapon. He gets his face right down there and gets a shell ejected right between the eyes. And again, that's why you wear eye protection when you are practicing your shooting, if you do such things.
I told you to hold it tight. Hold it tight. That shit tight, bro. I was like,
He said, all right, I'm done. So anyway, a little bit of, shooting isn't for everybody. Okay. Despite what the NRA, despite what some MAGA Republicans try to tell people, that everybody should have a gun. Everybody should not have a gun. There are people that should not have guns. And again, you can, well, anyway, the gun needs to be up here, back on this shoulder, with the shoulder back and stable, and his head. Anyway, this isn't about proper shooting etiquette. It's about the guy getting hit in the nose. All right. This is the other bit of computer science technology that came across today that I thought, they did what? And I'm not going to play the whole thing, but here's what happened. Basically, a Swiss firm, Final Spark, has launched Neuro Platform, is the name of their company, and they're using a. Why did that happen? Get up. There we go. All right. They're using a 16 lab grown brain organoids. All right. Using 16 lab grown human brain organoids for computational tasks consuming 1,000,000 times less power than silicon chips. The system integrates hardware, software, and biology using multi-electrode arrays to process the data. The organoids now last 100 days, a significant improvement. NeuroPlatform is available for research at $500 per user per month, moving towards creating the world's first living processor. So, to me, this is one of those just because you can do it. Maybe I don't know if you necessarily should, but that's just me. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is this something that is just the next step? Is this something that is like, why? Whoa, how far do we take all of this? World's first living computer, quote unquote, runs on a 16 lab grown brain neuro platform. I think this is the Eisenhower, I think, but it doesn't matter. This brings up, what would the USA do? If you're just joining us, the United States basically guided a United States missile launched from Ukraine, and it was the warhead was cluster bombs, cluster munitions to take out a wide and deep area, and it did its job on a beach in Sevastopol. And Clay Bowles asked the question, what would the USA do if a Russian missile carrying lethal cluster munitions, guided by a Russian recon drone, using Russian satellites and Russian support, slammed into a beach in Florida full of Americans on a Sunday afternoon, maiming and killing innocent women and children? We need to ask ourselves that, because Russia is currently making that decision. So, again, two things going on in Russia that of significance that we need to be aware of that probably aren't going to get a lot of attention. The first one being what we just covered, the fact that indeed the United States is going to be held accountable, whether you think it's justifiable or not. The world is going to hold the United States accountable, and this is going to be a big deal. The second being what you're witnessing right here, and this is the altercation going on between alleged Islamic extremists and Russian police and National Guard. Now, it's interesting the spin that is being put on this from each side, from the east and from the west. From the east, the Russian side is that there are hundreds of police and National Guard and only 5 to 10 terrorists. The spin from the western side is that that this is ongoing, has been ongoing for several hours, and is spiraling out of control. We will see. The truth, I imagine, lies somewhere in the middle. Roughly 100 members of the Russian National Guard and police engaged with a group of 5 to 10 terrorists. That is the side. Well, that's what Russia is saying. Um, this is the launch um, launch of the Ukrainian ballistic missile attack on northwestern Crimea. At least 8 um, MGM 140 ATACMS being fired by a group of 4 multiple launch rocket systems. And again, um, we're seeing at least 8. Russia said 5 of them were attacked, or 5 of them were launched, and 4 of them were shot down, and 1 of them um, exploded. But it appears that 8 were launched. So if 4 were indeed disabled, there will be reports still to come about damage, unless they splashed into the water or whatever. I'm going to hold this for tomorrow night as well. This happened earlier today, 3 hours ago. The world's largest telescope in Puerto Rico collapsed. It's been used in a lot of movies, a massive giant bowl with the array that was above until what you just saw happen. And it's odd that a lot of things are being taken offline, if you will. And you can see the cables snapping and it falling down into the giant conical reflective base of that telescope. And again, that happened earlier. This came in 20 hours ago from Colorado. Unusual animal behavior. Dozens of deer and elk have come out of the woods in Colorado or are sitting in people's yards as if someone chased them out of the woods. The poster says, watch animals and as they sense that something is going to happen, or to tell people something. And as we can see from the it's it's not just a handful of these animals that are in this area. There are, it said dozens, but I'm going to say there are hundreds at least. And this is just one small 4 or 5 house area in a neighborhood. Who knows where others might be, and why are they there? Is something driving them out of the woods? Kind of crazy. Just a little bit of underground news that you're probably not going to see anywhere else. All right, I think this is federal prosecutors recommend criminal charges against Boeing for violating their 2021 settlement. A final decision within 2 weeks is according to both Reuters and CBS, and that came in just an hour ago, right before getting started. Going to end with a little bit of humor, because we need humor. We have to laugh. We have to be able to get through things, and laughing is one of the ways to get through things. And plus, on this channel, that we tell you the truth about what's going on, or we show you the things going on and let you decide for yourself what you think about it. And we try to throw in a little bit of humor every now and then, because sometimes we deal with some pretty heavy stuff. So I found this guy amusing. I hope you do too.
Hi, Ricky Cotter from the car. I was just getting nostalgic, taking a little stumble down memory lane, thinking about the COVID epidemic. Remember that when some jackass ate a bat and we had to shut down the world? Remember when you had to get nostril raped to get on an airplane? The good old days. You had to get the vaccine because there was a mandate. There was a vaccine mandate and a mask mandate. And I'm an idiot. I thought mandates were something gay guys went on, but that's not homophobic. I'm just an idiot. I just got the latest booster, actually. It was heroin, and I loved it. And if they put heroin in all the vaccines, I'd be very well vaccinated. Moving on. You know who didn't get the vaccine? Charlie Sheen. Famously was an anti-vaxxer, which I find hysterical because there is not a drug on this planet that he hasn't injected into his veins. So he trusts Pablo Escobar more than Fauci. Interesting. What else? Remember, it was a respiratory virus. So I knew that every morning I would wake up and I would do a series of deep breaths through a bong. And then I would forget all about the pandemic and I would have waffles. And that's just how I survived. The wife and I are still social distancing. I think the technical term is restraining order, but we made it through. And I'm wearing a mask right now, but I wear it as a thong. And I'll tell you something, I don't feel safe at all. I don't know how you ladies do it because it is splitting the twins. Stay healthy, everybody.
Stay healthy, everybody. Indeed. All right. Thank you for clicking on this late Sunday night, early Monday morning, officially now the 24th day of June. Hello to Lori Arnold. Not going away. Hot mess summer. And who else is Sissy? Autistic Awareness Grandmother. Awesome. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. Hit the subscribe, like, share, all of that. And I will be back on here tomorrow or actually later tonight now, 11 p.m. tonight. We'll be doing this all over again. Who knows what's going to happen between now and then. And a reminder, the stars of the Summer of Chud, both two of the three stars making a dent in the entertainment airwaves this weekend. Lori Arnold showing up on the Dallas News. Look for Lori Arnold. She did a couple of live protests from Gateway Church in Texas. And also look for Anarchy Princess, as she pulled off one of the greatest troll scenes of all times, asking Marjorie Taylor Greene's new boyfriend where the beach blonde, bad butch, I don't remember what the term was, beach blonde, bad butch body, I'm missing a B. The beach blonde, bad butch bodied. Anyway, Anarchy Princess rattled it off just like, and if you haven't seen it, go back and watch it towards the first of the episode, or check out Anarchy Princess, or check out Lori Arnold. But check them both out, no matter what. Of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't touch on the third star of the Chud, the Summer of Chud, and that would be Ant. Out in California, last we heard, wanting to vet people as to whether they could be part of the protest organization or not. It's none of my business. Do what they want, but maybe they ought to vet him before allowing him to vet anybody else. Just, something to think about. Maybe we shouldn't be too hard to find. Anyway, again, another plus one adventure. Thank you for being here. Everything in this world will soon collapse. The United States has no allies left. I would not argue. I would not argue too fiercely against either one of those statements. I think that where the United States is at the moment, I think there are probably a lot of countries that need our help that may not be there when we need other people's help. You know what I'm saying? So I would not argue that. And if you look at what's going on with other nations' efforts to impede our economy, if you look at the fact that United States is potentially looking at a military response to 5 different fronts, those fronts being Korea, Taiwan, Ukraine, Russia, the Middle East, and here at home in case of internal violence. I couldn't, everything in the world will soon collapse. We're not that far away. It's teetering. And I hate to say it because I don't want it to be that way. I got grandkids that I want to see have a great life. And I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. I got a lot of time left, so I don't want to see it collapse. But it is things are a lot more tenuous than they were without a doubt a decade ago, and maybe even 5 years ago. It doesn't mean we give up. Doesn't mean we don't keep on keeping on. Doesn't mean we don't laugh. Doesn't mean we don't smile. Doesn't mean we don't care. Just means it's a dark world, and it's important to be a light. It's important to tell the truth and to call out those not telling the truth. And we try to do that on here. And I thank y'all for watching. Love y'all like chocolate chip cookies. I mean that. Hit the subscribe, like, share if you would. Notification bell just to make sure you know when we're on. And I'll be back on 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, 8 Pacific. We'll do it all over again. Love y'all. See you next.